Greetings, friends, that gaming author, and welcome to Chapter 2 of our Dungeons and Dragons campaign, where freaking craziness happens. People fight dinosaurs, and almost die, because I think that's happened to pretty much everyone here. But,
Not on the dinosaur. I didn't even get hit.
oh yeah, I'm talking about like in the prologues.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, the prologues we all almost like, oh no, we're gonna die.
Yeah, and then
I mean, we got to the
poor
story.
Cassie was like attacked the most. But, anyway.
Trying to fight giant chickens.
Yep. Alright, so, starting off, just kind of a bit of a recap. When we last left off, the four of you were gathered by a human woman by the name of Holly Vextrom, and she claims to be gathering you guys for something nicknamed the Guild, but was more, but like its proper name is the Inclusion Collaboration, a group that seems to stop what was previously known as the War of Cleansing from repeating itself. And upon gathering you guys, she had you stay in the little outpost village of Oraltros, where mainly merchants and soldier members of the Crown's Guard stay. But she rented out the entire inn for you. Our Crampin drugged everyone in the inn, and and then freaking
Yes, I did.
Cassie got a shield and 2 healing potions for the price of 1 healing potion. And then shortly after, she ended up spotting this very dinosaur-like creature, and the four of you entered a battle, and you discovered this to be an Allosaurus, a beast that had been kind of prowling the perimeter of the village of Oraltros. And Holly mentioned that this thing was not native to the continent of Unistalad, which is where you guys were staying, but rather it comes from Amorlen, a continent to the southwest of Unistalad. And it showed up out of nowhere, and it was scaring all the merchants away, but once you guys defeated it and got a good night's rest, you came out and saw a carriage drawn by 3 horses had been rented out for you. So you guys got aboard. Matthias went ahead and helmed the horses, and with a
Took
good
the
enough
reins
roll,
from our
was
Crampin.
able to go ahead and control them. So that brings us to where we are now. It is about it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's not super late in the day. And you guys have left Oltros behind. It is far beyond the horizon from you now, and you were given the instructions to head to the city of Livia, but to take the eastern entrance because, well, things aren't exactly ideal there due to some circumstances that happened 5 days or 6 days prior now. And Matthias, could you go ahead and make a quick survival check for me?
Oh, great. Okay.
Was there a rabbit in the road?
Oh no, it's just a general, just something that I need to know.
Alright. It's just like, look out, there's a rabbit.
13.
all right, perfect. See, I just wanted to make sure. So you do know that you are heading in the right direction, and though you haven't really been to Orlivia much since you've lived in Washorik for for as long as you can remember, really, uh, you have seen Livia on a map, and you know where it is in relation to the village of Oraltros. So you feel pretty confident. My apologies, that you are heading in the right direction. So just kind of riding out here, you're you're pretty much an entire you're in grasslands, but the grass below the horses you can see has been kind of smashed down, almost like a an impromptu road created by merchants and travelers coming and going from Livia, Norlatros, and vice versa. And to the east, you can see are like kind of clumps of forest leading to large mountainous, like very red mountainous ranges, almost like canyons. And then to the west is you can't necessarily see it from this distance, but you can tell from the west is the ocean. And as you start heading northeast, it just kind of curves inland, and you're just following along this trail. And with that being the case, what would you guys like to do while you're here on the road?
We're on like a cart or whatever.
Oh
Right?
yeah, so yeah, you guys are all in like a cart that kind of shields you from the elements, and Matthias is up front, but he's still kind of under the cover of the carriage.
Aren't I still sitting next to him?
Hmm?
Well, and when we left off, he had taken the reins from me. So I'm like, am I still like up there with him?
I mean, if you want to, you definitely can be.
Yes.
All right,
Just,
so yeah, you
Uh,
are
I've
sitting
just
up.
been there annoying the hell out of him.
All right, fair enough.
Can I look around the area outside the carriage?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check in that case.
Okay. $19.
Perfect, man. Freaking rogues, man. I swear. So, so looking out, like you can see pretty much what I described, like just the grassy landscape of the forest to the east and the ocean to the west, and looking around in your immediate vicinity, it seems pretty barren. Like out in the far distance, kind of like a sort of slightly more to the east from where you guys are heading, you can see kind of a band of merchants, also in a horse-drawn carriage as well, and they're just kind of they're heading in the opposite direction of you. It seems they might be heading towards Oral Tross, from what you can tell. And other than that, you can also see, you can kind of see a gathering of deer in the distance, and as they kind of hear your cart rolling and the horse, and like just the sound of the horses, they kind of their ears perk up and they kind of scatter about to the west. And yeah, as far as you can tell, that is what you see here. It doesn't seem like anything is amiss necessarily.
Okay.
Alright. Anything anyone else want to do?
Nope, just hanging out.
Alright. Perfect. So, with that being the case, you guys go ahead and you continue this ride, and the day slowly becomes night. It gets a little colder the further north you head, especially as it starts getting darker. And as the late afternoon approaches, the sky starts getting a little cloudy, and in the distance you can hear the rumble of thunder. And as you start heading north, you can see the kind of like a bit of a downpour out in the distance. You're not necessarily towards it, but you can see like those streaks of rain that you can see if you were like looking up in the mountains, and you can tell it's raining, you know, somewhere other than where you are in the immediate vicinity. So with that being the case, as you continue going along, the path mostly stays the same, and as you travel, it starts getting darker out, and as evening approaches, Brennan, with the or Matthias or whatever, with the survival check you made, you know that you've about traveled the distance that these horses can go in a day, and you decide to go ahead and bring them to a stop as evening begins approaching, and you decide it's probably best to go ahead and settle in for the night and just make sure that both the horses and the rest of you get rest, because going from Oltros to Livia is about an 86-mile trip, and you know these horses can only go about 30 miles a day. So you go ahead and set them down, and you kind of prepare to settle in for the night. And did any of you happen to bring any provisions before going on this trip?
I have rest.
Perfect.
Just at character creation, everybody should have some.
Perfect. All right, just wanted to make sure. So you do
Yeah.
all have rations on you, and since this is just a 3-day trip, it should last you definitely. So you don't have to worry about hunger or anything. So you go ahead and settle in, and it is still cloudy, but it's not quite raining here. It's just a little breezy. You can hear the trees and the clusters of forest to the east, kind of, or the leaves in the trees, kind of rustling in the wind. And as you go ahead and settle down for the night, is there anyone who wants to, like, you go ahead and set up a campfire to get ready for the night? And is there anything anyone wants to do before resting for the night?
Yes, I would like to cast the alarm spell around our little group.
Perfect. Easy enough. You go ahead and cast that around just as an extra security measure. Anything else anyone wants to do?
No.
Alright.
Take my blanket out and use my blanket.
Alright, fair enough. So with that being the case, you guys get settled in, and is there anyone who wants to go ahead and take about a 4-hour watch, just to assure that group stays safe during the night?
I got it.
All right, perfect. Anyone want to join him? All right.
Crazy guy.
Yeah.
One at a time, bitch.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
You enjoy
So-
your loot.
All right. So everyone else goes ahead and settles in for the night and gets some rest. And Matthias, go ahead and make a perception check.
Cool. Cool. Okay, 18.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I got uneasy way, like the uneasy
Yeah.
map.
No kidding. My goodness. So you're kind of sitting there. You're sitting there, and it's a quiet evening. The fire has kind of dwindled, but it's definitely blazing enough for you to stay warm in the evening. And you're just kind of looking around at the sights, and you're used to survival. You've lived in the mountains for a long time, so you're used to keeping an eye out for anything, kind of almost like sleeping with one eye open in a way. But you're just kind of looking out, and for your entire watch, nothing out of the ordinary happens, and 4 hours have passed. So, with that being the case, who wants to take the second watch?
I will take the watch, considering I just remembered something about my character. I don't need sleep.
Yeah,
I
that's
meditate.
true. You can just meditate for like 4 hours, right?
Yeah, I meditate for 4 hours, and it counts as a long rest. So yeah, I don't need sleep.
All right. So, with that being the case, Matthias goes ahead and lays down, and our Crampin wakes up for the second watch. Go ahead and roll perception.
Oh fuck.
Uh oh.
Oh no.
Oh, but I am proficient, so that's good. So 6. I'm gonna have to go with 7.
Oh no.
Oh, all right. So you're kind of
Oh,
sitting
no.
there, but like throughout the night, Bob is kind
What?
of like he's just talking and pretty much annoying you, and your attention is kind of divided. So it's like you kind of try to ignore him, but like he makes fun of your beard, which you cannot. Like, that's beyond you.
That's no territory.
Yeah, that's no territory. So you end up freaking getting into an argument with Bob about your beard, and yeah, with that, as far as you can tell, nothing looks out of the ordinary or anything. And
Since it was a low die, I was half expecting like animals to come up and steal our food or something. I'm just like, what's he gonna do?
yeah, oh yeah, no worries. Your watch does pass, thankfully, uneventful, and as everyone else goes ahead and wakes back up, you guys all manage to feed the horses, and you are on the road once more. Matthias, go ahead and make another survival check.
Yay! Okay. 14.
All right, not bad. So you go ahead and you get the horses heading a little more to the west once more, and as you start to go ahead and make your way further to the north, you do kind of start hearing the sound of a nearby river, and you can tell that, you can tell that you're getting at least somewhat close to your destination. It will still take a bit of time, but you're starting to see familiar landmarks from just kind of what people have told you in passing from going in the mountains of Olymph, because you've heard many travelers going through seeking the Black Crystal, which lies in the land of endless snow, but only very few have actually survived the trip to seek the Black Crystal itself. One of them would be the King of Livia's father, which you know is John Sedig. And so you continue the trip down this road. The clouds kind of start parting a little bit, and you get a bit of sun, thankfully, and it kind of warms up the area. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Perception.
Yeah.
Okay. 13.
All right. So as
Not
you're going
horrible.
along, you hear behind you kind of the clomping of hooves behind you, and it sounds like there are more travelers kind of taking this road. Because the carriage is quite large, you can't necessarily see anything, but you do hear that there are other people behind you.
Okay. Um,
Man in the ship.
do I have options here?
I mean, just what would you like to do? You can pretty much do anything,
that's
and then we just roll to see what
That's one
happens.
difference between RPGs and D&D. Like with like RPGs, like you can like see like what you can do. Like what can I do?
I mean, that's up to you. It's like you're in this world. You're
Okay.
on this carriage, and you just hear people behind you, and the horses are just moving at a decent enough pace, so that way they don't get super exhausted and can kind of travel longer or can cover more ground than they would if they were to sprint and get tired too early.
I would like to advise the other people in the carriage to keep an eye on the people behind us.
All right, so
Roger that.
Uh, Soren will actually go ahead and send Ias up into the air to go and see what he can spot from the strangers.
perfect. So with that being the case, go ahead and roll perception for him.
16?
All right, perfect. So he kind of looks down at the travelers and giving a look at this. They don't have a covered carriage quite like you guys do. It's more like it's like it's like this wooden bed with no cover on it, but there are various goods kind of covered by burlap sacks, and some of them are kind of spilling out, and you can see like various fruits and vegetables. And the people helming this, there are two of them. One of them is a dwarven male with kind of long blonde hair and kind of like a very clean shaven beard. It's still a beard, but it's not as long as you've seen beards on other dwarves. And the other one is a human male with kind of slick back hair. He's got almost like a very formal looking suit on, and he's got like these very bright blue eyes, and he's just standing there, and he's the one kind of controlling the horses while the dwarven male just kind of sits there and looks around, and they don't necessarily seem to be paying attention to your cart, but for the most part, from what you can tell, they don't necessarily mean any harm immediately.
Okay. So while she's watching this, she's just relaying this to the people around her.
All right, perfect. So the rest of you all know that information, and these travelers, you do kind of, as she's saying this, you do kind of hear them getting a little closer, and they kind of go around you, and kind of go to your right side, and the man with the formal suit and slick back hair kind of looks at Matthias and just kind of gives an acknowledging nod, and he goes, "Hail, friends! Where are you heading?"
Uh,
They're not talking to me. I'm in the cart.
I always think I'm prepared for these. I'm never prepared for these.
Don't worry, you get used to it as time goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Around.
So friendly.
Head it
Right.
around.
And the
My character is not friendly.
yeah, and the man nods, and he's all, I can understand. I've been there. We've all been there, I believe. Uh, what might your name be?
My name is Matthias.
Huh? Good to meet you, Matthias. My name is Drake, and my friend here, he is named. Oh, my apologies. I forgot to check my notes.
Oh, please be Josh.
That would be pretty fantastic. But
I'm like, just please have it be Josh.
oh my gosh, where is it? I had it
So
noted.
freaking funny.
Oh yeah, and his name is Wallace, and the dwarven male just kind of nods, and he's like, "Hmm." And the man in the business suit, Drake, he says, "We have been on a trip. We are heading up to the northern region of Ashorik. We are hoping to cross the river here. It seems you are heading north as well. Are you familiar with the region of Ashorik?"
Not quite, but I'll figure it out.
All right. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh. That's something I'm good at. Evidently not this time. 12.
I mean, that's fine because he rolled a 1 on insight, so you're good. he
Hell yeah.
The man nods and he's like, I can understand. Uh, I was just wondering because you definitely look like you've been around, and I mean, you're going there, I suppose. But, thank you for your time anyway, and I hope you survive your trip to wherever you're going. And he goes ahead and snaps the reins and heads forward. And as the cart kind of goes ahead of you, you can see kind of like a cluster of various fruit falls out of the cart, and kind of looking behind the cart, you can see they've been kind of like leaving a trail of fruit behind them.
Okay then.
That's very suspicious. There's some kind of monster that likes fruit behind us, isn't there?
I mean, if you want, go ahead and make an insight check.
You know what? I think I might just do that.
All right.
Okay.
It's a fruit bat.
Oh, hell. 4!
All right.
Oh no.
So yeah, as far as you can tell, nothing
Said it
suspicious
so
about it.
proudly,
It's
like 4.
just, just looking at the at this, it just looks like it's been kind of falling out. It's like almost like the cart is like overflowing, but it doesn't seem intentional as far as you can tell. It's just there. But regardless, you do kind of lead the horses away from the fruit and away from this cart, and kind of take a kind of like a bit of a detour around these two men to kind of get away from them. And you go ahead and continue your ride onward. And the day finally comes to night once more. You go ahead and gather your things and settle down for the night. And who would like to take the first watch tonight?
I'll do it. Well, like I said, I don't need to sleep.
All right, fair enough. So you go ahead and roll perception then.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. Natural 20.
All right, so
Oh, so it doesn't matter if. Oh, I was gonna say, do I still add on or?
I mean, natural 20 doesn't matter. That's pretty much the best you can roll anyway. So
Right.
so you're pretty much good. Just
All
kind of looking out. Everything seems normal for the most part. Even Bob is actually surprisingly quiet tonight. You look. You
That's
kind of.
rare for
You give a look on your staff, and you can see Bob. He kind of has like his hands almost in a prayer formation, and he's been muttering to himself, not in a language you can understand surprisingly, which for as wise and a warlock you are, you know quite a bit, especially about your captive imp here, but he's speaking in a tongue you don't quite understand.
Hey, what language are you speaking in? I don't trust you.
And he just kind of he finishes his prayer, and he
That's
keeps
racist.
he keeps his eyes closed, and he's all, none of your business, that's what.
Well, it is my business. I need to know if it affects me or these people.
And Bob just kind of laughs, and he's all,
Well, yeah, gesturing to the others as they sleep.
fair enough. And Bob nods, and he's like,
Freaking insight check him. Like, do I believe him?
and Bob's like, when you think about it, everything affects everyone, so therefore, I suppose you could say what I'm doing affects you, and these people, and even myself, and the world at large, just because that's cause and effect, my friend.
You know, it's the first time that you've called me friend, but you know what? Every time that you have called me friend in the past, it's been sarcastic, so I will assume that this is that.
Bob nods, and he's like, you have a point. I don't know what to call you, but... we'll
Thanks! I don't know what to call you, but...
You freaking called me Bob. You don't even know my real name.
See, now that's where you're wrong. It's not that I don't know, it's that I don't care.
See? That's exactly why I will refuse to call you by any respectful term such as friend, unless it is in sarcastic jest.
Well then, fine then. Well, you still need to tell me what it is you were muttering about.
And he's like, I don't have to tell you anything. And he kind of turns his face away from you, and he kind of crosses his arms, and he's almost like pouting like a little kid, and he just kind of turns his head away from you and like a,
Oh, well, fine then. But I swear, if anything happens to me or the girl, that's your head.
I'd like to see you try. And he just kind of smirks and he shrugs and he's like, not that I fear death anyway. That's why I don't mind being captive to a crazy old man like you.
Oh, I'd like to know why you keep saying good luck with that when you're the one who's tied up!
And Bobby just kind of stops. His mouth is open like he's about to say something. His like finger drops and he's like, touche. And he just drops it. And with that, your watch comes to an end, for the most part, rather uneventful. So who would like to take second watch?
Soren will.
All right, perfect. So with that, our Crampon goes ahead and begins his nightly meditation while Bob just kind of mutters to himself and continues praying in whatever language this is. And eventually he falls asleep as you begin your watch. Go ahead and roll perception.
I rolled very poorly, but I'm going to go ahead and channel some of my divinity powers and use the 14 that I rolled instead.
Yes, nice.
And that becomes an 18.
Perfect. So, you can pretty much see everything for the most part, which is ironic, all things considered, but you do look around and for the most part everything seems fine, although something in the distance does catch your ear. You kind of hear a rustling in one of the nearby bushes, and you kind of hear footsteps go ahead and scatter off in the from where you're sitting to the right.
I'm going to send Arius after them.
All right. So
See if he can spot what it is.
All right. So you go ahead and send him, and do you want? I suppose for this, I can go ahead and I'll give you the option. Do you want to go with the perception check you went with this time, or would you like to roll another?
This would be a new one because it's through Ias instead of myself.
Perfect.
That is a 19.
All right. So he goes ahead and flies on over to where you heard the source of this sound, and you can see a person clad in very black and black church robes with like green lining the cuffs and the hems at the bottom, and they seem to be running towards another campfire out in the distance, about half a mile from where you guys are.
Do I recognize the church robes?
You do not, surprisingly. They do, like, you can tell they look similar to the ones you were in, but they don't look like they belong to the one in Livia.
Okay, and how far away is their camp?
They're about half a mile away.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and wake up probably Matthias. He seems probably the most stable-minded of the group here.
Oh.
And just quietly share that information with him.
All right, so you go ahead and wake Matthias up, and you go ahead and relay that information. So Matthias, what do you do in that case?
I sort of grumble and just go, I fucking hate churches.
I say nothing.
Fair enough. So with that being the case, you do look around and...
Actually, you know what? Can I actually roll to see if I recognize the church?
From what I describe, yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely go ahead and make a, for that we'll say, religion check.
Okay. Let's do it. 7.
All right, so it seems, just from your knowledge, the churches do kind of blend together sometimes, just because your mind's clouded. And it's like, they're all the same, you know, whatever. And it's like, you know, a lot of them do kind of wear black cloaks. they don't necessarily seem like any that you've encountered in the past, just from what you can recall. But you do know that if a church has people this far out from any sort of society, that's probably not necessarily a good thing.
Right. Hmm. I just fixate on him. I'm just gonna fixate on him and keep an eye on him.
All right, sounds good. So, you do kind of like it doesn't take much for you to go ahead and see them. They are still half a mile away, but with your abilities, you can get close without them necessarily noticing. So I'm not necessarily going to make you roll for like stealth or anything, since you're just kind of trying to keep watch at the moment. But as you go ahead and get close, you can see about, or actually, go ahead and make a perception check with. Yeah, no, nothing. Just a straight perception check.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Yay!
So, looking at their camp, you can see that there are 5 of them outside. They're all still clad in these same clothing, and they're all gathered around a fire. But you can see they have a cart themselves, and more people are coming out. A lot of them are human. There's some elven people there, like a couple goblins as well, and so you surprisingly see a minotaur male come out. He's clad in the church robes as well, though he has the sleeves torn away, and he goes ahead and sits by the campfire, and you can hear them. They are speaking in common. They seem to be talking about from what you hear, they seem to be talking about potential converts or potential enemies, and they're just kind of discussing this matter. You don't hear them necessarily talking about like a plan of ambush, but they definitely seem to be deliberating whether or not they should interact with your group come morning.
I would like to return next to Soren.
All right, easy enough. You go ahead and head back, and
And I would like to relay the information as well.
all right, perfect. So you do go ahead and you relay this information back to Soren. Easy enough.
Do you think we should wake the others or just let it come to pass in the morning?
It's hard to say.
Well, I don't like it, but I do need some sleep.
I guess we have to wait until morning then. No
Right.
sense going in half prepared.
All right. So with that, do you two head back to the camp?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head back. Matthias, you go ahead and head back to sleep. That is, if you want to, anyway. And Soren, for the rest of the night, your watch does pass uneventful. And as morning comes, you go ahead and gather your things. And do you guys relay this information to the rest of the group?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys
I
have made
suppose
No,
we
we
oughta.
tell them nothing.
Yeah. It's a secret to everyone. You go ahead and you explain this weird church group out in the middle of nowhere with like a giant freaking minotaur with them for some reason, who seems to be part of them and was also speaking common. But with that, Matthias, do you want to keep heading in the direction you were, or do you want to try maybe like going around them so you don't necessarily like run into them?
See, typically I'd like to avoid any sort of religion people, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the
see.
latter option.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was simply saying I continue to say nothing about his
Perfect.
constant remarks about how much he hates religious people.
Well, no, I am aware of Soren. She hasn't tried to kill me, so we're good.
All right.
That's fair.
Fair enough. So,
It's only the religious people that try to kill me.
all right, which are a lot. So easy enough. Go ahead and make
Quite a lot.
go ahead and make a survival check.
Indeed. That, my friend, would be a good old-fashioned 11. It
All
keeps going down by 1.
right. So you do, for the most part, kind of get the horses to veer more to the west to kind of curve around this group. And as you guys are going, the rest of you, looking out the carriage, you do see kind of to the distance the remains of a bonfire, and you can see this group, like this church group, all clad in the black and green robes. They are going ahead and preparing their things, and one of go ahead and for anyone interested, go ahead and make a perception check.
14.
All right,
13.
nice.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was
18.
perception.
Nice. Yeah, perception. So far, so good.
Okay, so hold on, I'm mathing in my head. 24?
Ooh,
No, 22.
still good. Wow. Just the rolls just got higher, like with each person. That's awesome. So, looking about, you do see these church members. They do spot your cart, and as they do, they don't necessarily try to approach you, but they seem to be gathering their things with more haste, and it's almost like they're going to try to catch up to you from what you can see. So with that, Matthias, would you like to go ahead and keep going at your pace, or would you like to kind of speed up and avoid them?
Let's see what they want. Keep going at the same pace.
Oh, great! So we're gonna
This
say
is
this.
fine.
I might have just killed us all.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, you can go ahead and roll and see.
That's
So with that, if you're trying to recognize them, yeah, go ahead and make a religion check.
Okay, I'm proficient in that.
Yeah.
I just rolled a nat 20.
Oh. All right.
I mean, +4, so it's like 24, but like it's a nat 20.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and send this in your notes because this is technically secret info since you do recognize this.
Okay.
Just toss them like this. Look in the air.
Then I can decide whether or not I tell the group. Yeah.
Learn to juggle. That's- Whoops! I almost shut off my computer with
Oh.
a dice. Like I'm just like toss them in the air like this, like I'm like kind of just trying to like pass the time. And then like when I accidentally toss one and almost hit the power button on my laptop, I'm like, oh shit!
That would have been hilarious.
That one, I would have been angry
All
at
right, just sent
myself.
them to you.
Mainly. God damn it! I'm such an idiot.
That's like totally an R cramping thing to do.
That's what I was
Just,
thinking.
just
I
like
was
we're just
thinking
going
that.
along in our adventure, and
Because I
suddenly he
can't
just
be
disappears.
cold.
That's is something that would happen. Like I just return with like
No,
clothing
it's
and I
literally
have,
like
a taco.
teleporting out of a place with the sound effect. You know?
And then when I finally do come back, it just like show back up, just like with a taco in one hand and a freaking burger in the other. Just go, what's up, guys?
The green, the green.
What I miss?
Yep. All right. So
Sorry about the tangent.
No, it's funny.
all good. So with that, I'll at least say you do recognize them, and the rest of you, you can kind of see Cassie's expression kind of drop, like her eyes widen as she sees these people. And how do you react?
I want to turn towards.
So just
I don't even want to like. I want to kind of. Cause my cloak is gonna give me away. Like who doesn't know? I want to like. I'm still inside of the cart, so I want to call towards Matthias. Hey, you might want to speed up a little.
Speed up. You got it.
Not necessarily obviously, but like you might want to gallop.
That is not
There's a
obvious.
line I must not cross. I understand.
All right.
I attempt to speed up slowly.
All right. So you do go ahead and speed up slowly.
We'll
All
try.
right. Good enough. And as you do go a little bit before you start hearing any
Isn't
other
that an
carts around you.
oxymoron?
But you do manage to speed up successfully, and as you start kind of riding through, you start approaching this very thickly forested area, just kind of further to the northwest that you are heading into. As far as you can see, it doesn't look like there's any direct way around it, unless you wanted to take a bit of a roundabout path. But for as thick as this forested area is, the ground is still kind of trampled from other travelers kind of heading into the forest, and you can tell this is kind of a common place of passage. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Alrighty. 12.
Hey, I mean, not too bad. So, as you're riding, you do hear another carriage behind you, as well as the sound of horses, but they don't seem to be like speeding up or anything. They seem to be matching your pace, as far as you can tell.
That's not suspicious.
Oh, I see.
Hmm. Trying to figure out what I want to do.
Okay, so we are being chased by these people, right?
More like followed. They're not like speeding up. They're just kind of matching your pace.
Can I use an item? Can I use my wand of magic detection to see if I can't, see if we can't see if they have any magic items that could be potentially hostile?
Yeah. Hang on, let me go ahead and check something real quick. All right. So yeah, you do go ahead and cast it, and hang on, let me double check something. Okay, yeah. So that is one use on it out of the 3, and they are more or less within the range, and you do kind of catch a magic blip, but from what you can tell, it's not coming from the cart, but it is coming from above you.
Above us?
Yep.
Can I observe that?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Alright. Oh, that's what you want. Alright, hold on.
I have like a
Oh,
freaking
thank
pit
God
in my
I'm-
stomach. Because I don't know.
Oh, great, lovely. 10.
All right, so yeah, looking up, you don't you're looking up and you don't see anything, and then as the cart starts making it further into the forest, you your vision of where you sensed this magic is even more clouded. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Thank you, trees! Thank you!
The trees
No,
are once again your
ruined
mortal
my
enemy.
Ah! No matter what it is, even in freaking Dungeons and Dragons, trees are ruining my life. God damn it. Alright. Well, I tried.
Yeah.
I want to take my cloak and kind of I want to take my cloak, and is there anything like in the cart like with us? Is it just like literally just us in the cart?
Yeah, it is just you and what you brought pretty much.
Okay. In the farthest corner of the cart, I want to take my cloak and my shield. You know what I'm talking about. And kind of fold my cloak over my shield and put it in the farthest back part of the cart, and the farthest corner back. And I want to go over, sit next to Soren, and just whisper over.
You can go ahead and actually send me what you want to tell her, and I'll go ahead and send it to her.
Okay. Well, it's not.
Only chapter 2, and we're already dealing with secrets.
I mean, you can always just DM me in Discord itself.
Oh yeah, you can also just send the message
You can
directly to
just-
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
forgot that was a
Right.
thing.
I don't know how to do that because I
Oh,
don't use
Uh,
Discord very often.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you're in the same room as he is.
Yeah. So hang on, let's go ahead and go to the. Let's see. I'll go ahead and
I was gonna say,
figure this out. All right. So let's go ahead and do. Whoops, wrong button.
oh yeah, my iPhone
All right.
exists.
Oh yeah. So we want to go to the notes channel. Do this, and go ahead and message. There you go.
Okay.
Just gonna fill this space with like memes. It's like at the bottom say, yeah, while they do their thing, here's some memes.
All right. Go ahead and make a performance check.
Wait, was that to me?
Yeah.
Went right over the head.
No, I got it. I just wasn't sure if you were being serious seriously saying about that, or if you,
Yeah, no, I mean-
if you actually meant it to one of those. I'm like,
No, like actually, why not? Since you're filling the space.
all right. So okay, so
You had no idea you
Instead
were
of-
becoming a bard.
well, instead of like you can like depending on the role, you can like change it between memes and like whatever type of pictures. Just
Yeah.
like keep video appropriate. What kind of check?
It has been sent, so
I'm reading.
okay.
Tessie, what kind of check?
Performance.
Performance. 18.
So, you do kind of, since memes aren't exactly a thing, at least in this part of the world, you and Bob kind of have like a comedy duet sort of thing going, and
Oh no, I meant like in the video.
oh, well,
When
you know
I'm
what, screw it,
editing,
we're
the
making this
video, I was gonna
canon.
put up like pictures of memes during the silence. That way people have something to do.
All right, well, freaking during this silence, I'll make it where you're doing something. So you and Bob kind of have this comedy duo, and for the most part, everyone seems focused. You do get a couple chuckles, but
Oh god, I'm gonna have to. Okay, I'm gonna take that to the next level. I hope you realize that.
oh no,
Like,
what do you?
God.
I'm gonna have to record something now.
Oh,
Oh no.
I don't like. I'll find a way to like use like I'll find a way to like have actual. I don't want to like record it like with like actual live action. I'm just gonna probably find a way to get like some kind of animation for it, whether it be like Minecraft or something. But I'll figure it out. But I'm
Alright.
just gonna have to like have me like doing a voice as our Krampin at like during that break. Like I'll just insert that video clip in the middle of the.
I will come over and record some guitar, and you can just have this R. Krampin song going on.
Oh, or the frickin' the Minotaur song.
No.
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 Am I thinking of the right
For
song?
your wizard, oh valley of plenty.
Oh my gosh, so I haven't had that stuck in my head in so long, and now there it is.
You're welcome.
I am a warlock.
All right.
Okay, so Soren's heard enough.
Moving on.
Fuck kind of party have I signed on with? Okay.
I told you.
Oh goodness! Now I want to know what she told you.
Wait.
So looking around, are there any trees nearby?
You are heading into
Like
a
right
forest.
up against the,
So
like anything right up against the road?
Not necessarily, but like there are trees about like a probably about like a 5-mile radius around you as you kind of head into this forest.
But not right up against the road.
Yeah, not necessarily right up against it.
Okay, how wide is the road?
The road is about about 6 feet wide.
Okay.
So about room for like one carry.
Hold on, I'm contemplating the possibility of something. I gotta read text to make sure it would work.
All right.
I never should have gave you that freedom. Never should. No.
This is what happens when you give me creative control.
No.
I just
That's all you do.
Are there any like sticks or piles of sticks alongside the road?
I
Go ahead
can
and
let
make
you
a quick
prove
perception check.
Okay. That is a 21.
Wow, yeah. So along the road, you do see kind of piles of like twigs and sticks and like fallen leaves along this path.
I would like to, if I can, I will let the DM make this decision.
Mhm.
I would like to try and mage hand as large of a pile of sticks and leaves and dry stuff into the middle of the road as I possibly can before we pass the 60-foot range, and then I would like to create a bonfire out of it.
All right, sounds good. So you go ahead and cast the mage hand and go ahead and make a dexterity check for creating this pile.
That is a 2. However, I am going to use my portent to use my 18 that I rolled
All right,
to
perfect.
have a 21.
All right, easy enough. So like you do kind of just like casting the mage hand, it kind of like messes up a little bit, but then you just kind of with that you go ahead and create this pile of the sticks and twigs and leaves, and then once you go ahead and make your way further, looking behind you, you can see the carriage of these weird church members. They are actually about 30 feet away. So as you're making this,
I'm sure they can see it, but,
yeah, they do see it in front
my
of them.
goal is to basically make it very difficult for them to get past this large bonfire in the middle of the road.
All right, so you do go ahead and create that large bonfire, and it does. Thankfully, because of that secondary dexterity check, you do manage to create the pile big enough to where the flames do rise up pretty high and cover the entirety of the road. So if this carriage was to try and trail you, they would have to go around some trees and kind of maneuver their way towards you. So you do continue moving forward. Oh, yeah, that's not happening. You look behind you, and you can see they stop their horses as this bonfire comes up, and you can kind of you can't necessarily make out what they're saying, but you can hear voices kind of talking about something, and they try leading the horses through these trees, but they can't find any like passage wide enough for the horses and the carriage, and they are having a lot of difficulty. So you definitely get far more distance than them, and you do manage to get out of their sights.
I was literally about to say, like, as all that is happening, I was like gonna rush to the front of the cart and be like, Matthias, if you're gonna book it, this will be the time to do so.
Yes.
So Matthias, do you do so?
I do so. I take the reins and I whip them with all my might.
All right, go ahead and make an animal handling check.
Okay. Animal handling. Let's do it.
Get these neighbors going. That was a bad joke.
Ooh.
dare you laugh at that?
Oh no. Like you rolled.
That was awful.
We got ourselves a 9.
Oh no.
Oh. So you do snap
was
the
worse.
reins, and it actually takes you a couple snaps for the horses to eventually like kind of understand what you're trying to get them to do. And as they start booking it, you can hear kind of a rattling in between, like where the horses are hitched to this carriage and the carriage itself.
I knew this would happen. I fucking knew it.
God.
I should have done
Well,
it. I should have.
I wasn't calling
Okay.
it per se.
Quick
I was
question.
calling. I
Yes.
was gonna say it was gonna be a wheel.
Can I hear it
falling off.
happening?
Go ahead and
Can I hear this?
Go ahead and make a perception check. With
it
disadvantage
was gonna
because
be-
everything is pretty crazy right now, and you can tell you guys are in danger.
Sure.
I thought it was
Good.
gonna be
That is a 17 on the dice plus 4.
Perfect. Yeah,
That's
you
a wheel
definitely hear
falling
this
off.
happening, and you can hear that. Any more strain, and this thing's gonna break.
You bet I can, which is why I cast mending
All right.
and fix the problem as long as it's not bigger than 5 feet.
Oh yeah, no, it's easy enough. This thing's barely a foot, like that's about to break. So yeah, you go ahead and cast mending, and easy enough. This thing goes ahead and fixes itself pretty much, from what you can tell, and you don't hear it any longer. So you are
Great.
galloping through this forest here. The carriage is no longer about to snap, and Matthias, you're kind of having a little difficulty kind of getting the horses around certain trees, and like the carriage kind of keeps like bumping up against some of them. Not enough to like take very major damage, but at the speed you're going, it's not looking super good. But you do go ahead
It's quite a bump.
you do go ahead and speed through this forest, and Matthias, go ahead and make a perception check for me as you're reaching the end of this forest.
This RPG's done quick.
RNG, don't fail us now.
Yep.
Bless RNG. 15.
All right. So, as you go ahead and approach the end of this forest, you find yourself at the other side of this clearing, and you can see in the horizon the city of Livia. You can see like the tall buildings. You can see the castle far in the distance, and you can tell that you are indeed approaching the eastern entrance, just like Holly mentioned. But at the same time, you can see two floating figures up in the sky.
No.
And
I'm gonna throw this book at you.
with that, we are going to go ahead and take a quick
No!
10-minute break.
No.
What? Now is the break?
I'm gonna throw this book at your head.
Alright, that means that's the end of this
Fantastic.
episode. God damn it. Way to have a cliffhanger.
No.
That's my thing, man.
Beauteous.
No.
That means,
Okay.
that means I'm gonna have to edit this video. People are gonna have to wait till the following day. I don't have
Oh,
that
baby.
much.
No. You did not do that. You did not. Oh man.
Stay weird, my fellow weirdos.
Alright, we'll be reconvening at 8:20.
Aight.
8:20? Alright, not a problem.
Don't look at me like that.
Don't look at me like that.
Don't look at me with that tone of voice.
Pretty much, yeah.
How dare you? Alright, hopefully I'm back in time to get some to eat.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. You did that on purpose.
Of course I did that on purpose.
Oh.
You know the severity of your situation.
Yes, I do.
Uh,
And no one else does. That's the point. That's literally the point. I mean, Soren somewhat knows now. But like,
And she's judging real hard, even though she is no person to judge.
Everyone's done crazy crap in this group.
look, it's not what you think.
It never is.
True.
Trust me, it's not what you think. You'll know soon.
So it would appear.
Oh, fun. And as you guys are approaching your destination, of course.
No.
I'm just waiting for it to get worse.
Oh boy.
Because somebody is going to recognize Soren. She's not
Oh.
exactly easy to hide.
So you guys are in very dire circumstances here.
Oh,
It's like the
I
worst
know.
possible place we could have gone.
Oh, This is. It's like you guys are stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, to be honest. Like, only people who are truly quote-unquote safe are Crampon and Matthias. So...
And they're with us, so they're absolutely definitely not safe.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So fun, though. I love it. Understandably so. Alright. I gotta take headache relief real quick. I'll be back.
Hey.
Well, that was pretty perfect for my notes for today. There goes that.
Oh, you too, huh?
Oh yeah, you guys have definitely had the most
I'm
tragic.
sensing a theme here.
Surprisingly, I don't think anyone really died in Arcrampton and Matthias's prologue. Just like no one that
Which
mattered.
of
anyway.
the 4 characters, it seems they would be the most likely to kill somebody.
Right? Well, I mean, they definitely did. Like, I mean, Arcrampton definitely had the least amount of combat, I think. But, well, no, because, yeah, yours didn't have much combat. It was more like,
I had to fight those birds.
oh yeah, and then the kobolds. That was fun.
Yeah. Those two.
Oh my gosh, I loved the NPCs in your prologue. I can't wait to bring them back.
Well, one of them's not coming back.
R.I.P. No.
Now, Soren. I didn't say that I killed anybody. Just saying. I just said that people died.
The best
And that they
NPC in the prologue so far was killed.
Yes, he was amazing. And then someone decided to kill him. He was like my best friend. The best friend that I knew for like 3 hours.
At least Shoal, like, he was one character I really loved.
He was a badass.
Yeah, he's just a little 8-year-old kid, but like, he's awesome.
He did when no one else could.
He really did. He was awesome.
You're lost in the forest with no roads. What do you do? I will locate one of them.
Oh no. That is awesome.
That is funny.
I am back.
Welcome. That meme makes me happy.
That is hilarious.
Thank you. I found it on Google.
All right, I am back.
All right. Welcome. So.
Wait 1 sec. I have to make sure. I'm just back in the call. I left. I ate some chicken.
Okay. Perfect. And.
I'm sorry, I just found another one and I have to send it quick because it's so good.
Oh no.
Alright,
It's so good.
D&D memes make me happy.
Wait 1 sec.
I really am.
All right, we're back. Welcome back, my fellow weirdos. We're back in this. We're back to finish off chapter 2.
Yeah.
The secret ingredient is That's good.
Yes.
I think they're laughing at memes.
No, look at the notes
Shocking, I know.
channel.
Oh, lovely. Oh, great. I will have to put these in the episode.
Yeah, please do.
You are lost in a forest with no roads. What do you do?
This-
Okay,
Both of those make me.
Oh
so
my
happy.
god! Okay, you know what? I have something to say about that. There is
Oh,
nothing
no.
wrong with Jar Jar Binks. How
Oh,
dare you? I
boy.
get so mad at people fucking hating on him. We have no
He's like the Nickelback of Star Wars.
There's nothing wrong with Nickelback!
Exactly, they're hated on for no.
Exactly, hated for no reason.
Look at
4
this
times
graph.
$6,000. How do
Look, no
we
one said that they hated Jar
How?
Jar Binks.
The secret ingredient is
We
crap.
didn't need to say it.
Yeah, fair point. All right.
Hmm?
All right. Circling back in.
Back to shenanigans.
Alright, take a break. That's enough memes for now.
All right. So freaking last we
Mm,
left off,
okay.
you're all about to die. So.
Shut
Oh.
up.
So. So with that being the case, let's go ahead and go back. Matthias, you saw in the distance the city of Livia and like all the buildings and everything, but then not far above you to the right, 2 floating figures. From what you can tell, they just look like silhouettes at this point, but they seem to be circling you.
Sorry about that.
Last time it was cats, and now it's a dog.
I know. Shenzi's
Please.
quiet tonight.
Yeah.
Please enjoy the musical rantings of the dog of the back.
Yeah. You see these 2 circling overhead, and like I said, almost like vultures, and they aren't necessarily approaching, but they are just staying high above you and are cramping.
Yeah, I was about to say, do I recognize these things?
You don't recognize them, but from what you can sense, these were where the magic you saw earlier came from.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a callback to the prequel. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, got it.
It is a callback to one of them, but that's.
Ah. Oh, I thought it was mine. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, nah, not quite. Yours aren't as dangerous, but anyway.
Oh, great.
With that being
Those
the
things
case,
almost killed me, man.
Angry at this point.
with that being the case, Matthias, you see these figures flying overhead. Is there anything you'd do so far?
How far away are they?
They are about. They're about a good 30 feet above you. And they're like directly above you. They're like circling you.
Are we able to tell if they're hostile?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Have you just missed completely what's been happening?
Okay, an insight check.
Oh well, they're cared. No.
Yeah.
13.
All right. You're looking at them and you can't quite get a grasp on them. They just seem to be floating above you. And suddenly, you see a red glow in one of their hands, and they throw their hand down at you, and you hear, and this just massive bolt of fire lands on the ground in front of you, and quickly explodes. And Matthias, I want you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, dexterity saving throw. That's a +6.
Yeah.
15.
All right. So as soon as you see this this bolt of fire make impact with the ground, you quickly pull the horses back, and they kind of lift their front legs, and you steer them away from this impact, and you begin booking it in the other direction. And you look above you, and you can see these two figures. They're still kind of flying in a circular pattern, and it's almost like a dance in the air. They're very graceful in their movements, but they are going ahead and going to start closing in. And with that being the case, I would like you guys to go ahead and roll initiative.
Give me the chance to
Initiative?
do what I was gonna do.
Wait, so we're entering combat?
More or less. So, and once again, we'll go ahead and do what I did last time.
8.
That's
Okay,
just going
so-
in the dice tray.
Alright, so 25 to 20.
I got 14.
Okay, so no one in the 25 to 20 range?
Listen for the words.
Yeah. Alright, 20 to 15.
16 for Soren.
Alright, perfect. Alright. Nice spell, this right. Alright, 15 to 10.
14.
Alright. And then 10 to 5.
8.
What did you roll?
A 1.
All right.
I feel so bad for her. Like, no.
So
poor
with
lot.
that, oh yeah.
The worst freaking roll.
Of course. You know what? It's because I'm scared. I'm getting flashbacks
Yeah,
of what
it's.
happened. Flashbacks of what happened.
And then-
So I'm like completely stunned like the entire time.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
am I still driving the carriage at this point, or have we stopped?
You are still driving the carriage,
Okay.
and just based on Cassie's reaction, you can tell you probably should not.
Yeah.
With that being the case, let's see. First is one of these floating figures, and
Not again.
Just hear back from one of the figures like, yes again.
Alright. So, let's see here. Let me make sure I actually comprehend this spell, because I am new to magic.
We're not playing Magic, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Alright, you know what? Arcanthan,
You lose 10
you're dying
HP.
first. Yeah.
Your turn.
Alright.
Because I smack you on the back of your head.
So you see one of these figures, like their hand starts like glowing bright yellow, and you can see like there's this static shock glowing around them, and this bolt of lightning forms in their hand, and it just chucks it towards you. And Matthias, I want you to go ahead and make a dex save.
Dex save.
It's a good thing he took it from me.
That is a 13.
Alright. Okay, for some reason I couldn't see it. So that just makes it. So you go ahead and pull the reins on the horses as this bolt of lightning comes and strikes down onto the ground. You can see like the sparks kind of scatter in like almost like this 10-foot radius, and it does manage to go ahead and get the horses. You guys are safe for the most part, but the horses are kind of like stunned in place. And with that, that goes ahead and ends Batman's turn. Soren, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
Okay,
Just to
how
kind of-
far away are they?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. So these two, they're still about 30 feet up in the
Okay. Well, that is okay with me.
air.
They can stay 30 feet up in the air. That is fine. I would like to cast the one that just sent the lightning down. He is going to need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Alright, sounds good. That is a 17.
No, actually, that's going to be a 1.
Oh,
I'm using my final portent for the day.
Alright,
And he's
see
getting
ya.
a natural 1.
Alright, so yeah, he just rolled a natural 1 in that case.
Okay, great. He's going to find absolutely everything completely hilarious for 1 minute of combat time, and
That's the-
falls prone to the ground because he's flying, and you can't fly when you're prone, which means he's probably going to take some fall damage, which you'll
Alright.
need to roll. And he is now incapacitated for 1 minute.
That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yes. So he
Wizards,
just,
man.
so he just
Actually fantastic.
so he just plummets to the ground, and he's just laughing like crazy. And all right, let's see.
All you guys hear from Soren after she casts the spell is, "That's right, laugh, you wanker."
All right, so as he falls to the ground, he kind of knocks his head against, like the back of his head against the ground. He's like clutching his head. And he definitely looks a little in pain, but he is definitely prone and laughing. And
So, DM, for your knowledge, at the end of each of its turns, he can repeat the wisdom saving throw.
all right, sounds good. I will go ahead and note that real quick because I will definitely forget.
Oh, and also, if he takes damage on his other turns.
All right.
So if anybody hits him with something, then he gets to make a wisdom save. So use this as time to kill the other one.
All right. So with that,
That's what I was thinking.
Matthias.
I
Oh wait.
mean, good luck.
Yeah, Matthias, it is now your turn, and for the sake
Wonderful.
of this battle, you will still be controlling the horses. You can definitely like attack because you do have a bow with you, but at the end of each turn, I will go ahead and ask you to make a dexterity saving throw. So, what would you like to do?
Okay.
Unless you choose to just continue controlling the horses and not attack.
Alright, I would actually like to use my short bow on the one that is still in the air.
All right,
Uh,
perfect.
and that would be. That hits at a 19
Oh yeah, that most definitely hits. And go ahead and roll
And-
damage then.
for damage. Give me a moment. That's 7 damage, and before I release the bowstring, I whisper to myself, "You have failed this province."
It's the best.
Are we just
That's-
all gonna have catch lines now every time we have a turn?
Yeah, that's an arrow reference, right?
What do you mean?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Oh,
So, so you go ahead and as you're
I
whispering,
just spit out nonsense.
as you're whispering this to yourself, you go ahead and fire the arrow, and it sticks into this person's shoulder, but he seems completely unfazed. And I want you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw to make sure you're still in control of the horse.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
Okay. 17.
All right, perfect. So as soon as you fire the bow, you set it down just like almost an inhuman speed. You fire the arrow and quickly grab onto the reins, and you are still controlling the horses and making your way across this grassland, heading towards the city of Livia. Next, Arcanthan, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I want Eldritch Blast these bitches.
All right. So which one
Well,
are you going
the
to
one
attack?
that's still in the air.
There's currently one on the ground and then one up in the air.
Yeah, the one in the air.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and roll attack then.
Alright, and it's gonna be a +4 for the thing. 13.
All right.
And the damage.
That just hits. Go ahead and roll damage. So that'll just be a straight 1d10.
Yeah, I was trying to find my D10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh, 9.
Ooh, nice. All right. So you go ahead and fire blasts of Eldritch Blasts up at this man up in the sky, and it impacts him in the chest, but still, he seems unfazed. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn, or is that it? Or anything you can do? So, any...
Right, there's yeah, I know, no, let's just move.
Alright, so with that, you go ahead and fire that Eldritch Blast, and then after that, this man up in the sky, let's see here. Alright, and then...
This is gonna be like one of those moves where like the first person to go like does like that kind of move where it like immobilizes one of the person. We're doing all this damage to the other one, and then come to find out it's just like so much stronger compared to us, and like we just like it just took
Oh,
forever.
absolutely.
It just took forever.
This is totally a pointless fight.
Oh yeah, I'm grabbing all of the d8s I have to roll this.
Oh, not this.
Whoa! All the d8s you have?
Yep, and that's not even enough. Let's see.
Not this.
That's just rude. That's just unnecessary, man.
Alright, so you see this man, he actually doesn't aim at you guys, but he aims his hand over at the city towards your destination. And he holds up the second hand and he starts spreading them, and you can see like this massive ball of flames growing in between his hands. And
This bitch.
he actually has
That's
to
what I said. I'm like, what? No.
he actually and then he throws it towards the city, and you see it just hurtle down, almost like watching a freaking meteor fall, and it impacts with the city, and you can see just all these buildings start erupting in flames and start crashing down and crumbling, and in just all this carnage, you can see the man just kind of staring down at you, and looking at him now, you can see that he's got kind of like a pale face and rather long hair, and he is expressionless. It's like he just stares at you guys, almost like his face is a mask. And that is the end of his turn. Cassie, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
Okay, hold on. Did you literally just SMT us right now? Just
I mean-
destroy everything.
I mean, close, but this is only one city. S&T was the whole freaking world.
Yeah. You're right, and it's in most of them.
Okay. What I'm
Okay,
gonna
go ahead.
Be glad because that was like 35 points of damage. So,
Jeez.
yeah, these guys, yeah. All right, what are you doing, Cassie?
Okay, so what I want to do is I want so have my I know what I want
Insert more memes.
to do. I have my pony symbol.
Mhm.
It's like my belt buckle or whatever. And well, I'm announcing it as my holy symbol because I don't know the thing.
Yeah.
So, just like subtly to myself, I'm going to remembering what happened before the last one. I'm going to whisper, quietly whisper to myself. And I'm going to take my crossbow and try to shoot the guy that's in the
All right. For that, go ahead and roll attack with advantage because after last time, as much as this frightens you, you recall what happened last time and you feel confident in whatever helped you.
Good thing you said advantage. Yes. Okay. 19.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
3.
All right. So, you go ahead and fire this crossbow bolt, and as soon as you pull the trigger, you feel that familiar light feeling that you felt last time, and the crossbow bolt begins glowing like a faint white as it fires directly towards him, and it pierces right into his chest, and you can kind of see he actually falters for the first time since you've been attacking him, and you can kind of see like he's beginning to sort of like quiver a little bit, and he's like grasping at his chest. Is there anything else you would like to or can do at this turn?
This is just like an offset thing. I want to get my cloak from the back, and I want to take a piece of it.
Oh yeah, easy enough. You go ahead and rip off a piece of the sleeve from that, and now you have that just ripped piece of the robe you have. And with that, it is now top of the round, which is...
I would just like to say something like what luck is that? Like the epic thing that happens, like something that would come out of like a video game or a movie, like to build drama, like the epicness would be on the final turn. Way to have that randomly turn out for us. Like wow, I'm like with your turn, like before she the mo, I'm like wow, like what's the luck that happens?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So with this top of the turn, you go ahead and speed a little closer to the city, and the top of the turn is our man on the ground, and he is going to go ahead and attempt a wisdom saving throw. That would be...
Guess I better tell you what he needs to make, huh?
Oh yeah, he rolled an 11. Or that is 11
Okay.
total.
He does not make it, so
All right,
he is
so-
continuing to laugh.
Yeah, so he's still just kind of... He is still rolling on the ground, kind of in pain, but still laughing, and he is unable to move. So Soren, it is now your turn.
Okay, so... Okay, looking at our other friend up there in the sky. What do I do? That's ground only. I will go ahead and cast... Oh, I don't want to do that. I will just go ahead and cast Firebolt at him. Make an
Alright,
attack.
sounds good. Go ahead and roll attack.
So that will be 20.
That definitely hits. And was that like a 20 total?
Yes, 20
Okay,
total,
perfect. Go ahead and
not
roll
natural.
damage.
Okay, that is an 8 on damage, and if he's wearing anything that could be lit by fire, it is now on fire.
All right. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, his cloth is definitely like flammable, and so as soon as you go ahead and throw that at him, his cloth is now on fire, and he is definitely looking a little hurt, especially after that crossbow bolt, and he's caught off guard by this all of a sudden. And go ahead and make an insight check, actually.
I will gladly do that.
Wait a second. If we're still moving, then how can we still see the guy on the ground?
You are just passing him, but like because of these the way these turns go, you've only moved like a little bit since he fell.
17 total.
All right, so you can tell that this man is he's kind of shocked at this point. Like he almost looks freaked out by the fact that his cloth caught on fire, almost like this isn't supposed to happen.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and start. Alright, these fuckers aren't as strong as they think they are! And then, yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Alright, perfect. So, next it will be Matthias' turn.
Matthias. It's your cue.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I forgot to unmute it. Where is the one on the ground relative to the carriage?
So right now, he is about 10 feet away from you guys on the ground, and he's kind of behind you to the right.
Ah, okay. Damn it. Alright, I guess I'll shoot an arrow at the one in the air again.
Alright, go ahead and roll attack.
Okay.
With advantage now, actually.
Alrighty. Nat 20.
Oh,
Yes.
Alright, so go ahead and roll damage, but go ahead and double your dice. So go ahead and roll twice and add those up.
Okay.
So it's actually, sorry not to interject, it's actually you roll it the one time, and then whatever you get, you double that
Okay,
amount.
I was told by someone else that it was to double the dice, but okay, so yeah, roll
No,
whatever,
it's double
and
the
then-
total on the dice.
Perfect. Oh, that's even better. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, and that would be a 10.
Alright. Nice. And so you go ahead and fire the arrow real quick, and it sticks into his other shoulder, and now he's like kind of grasping at both this crossbow bolt and this arrow, and he is freaked out. And go ahead and make another dexterity saving throw here.
Cool. That's a 7.
So you fired the arrow, but like you
But at
aren't
what
exactly
cost?
fast enough, and the horses are kind of like in the panic of all this happening, they kind of veer off course, and you do manage to grab hold of the reins, but they are now kind of freaking out and running into this clearing, and they are no longer heading directly towards the eastern exit that you were supposed to go to, and they are beginning to head directly to the west. And with that, it is now Matthias, or no, my apologies, our Crampton's turn.
Right, but
Oh yeah?
I was really hoping that the one on the ground was still in front of the carriage because I wanted to run him over so bad.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if, yeah, that's understandable. Alright, our Crampton?
Alright, yeah, I was just like wanting to look at some of my fusion traits because I thought I had something, but I
Okay.
did not. I would like to cast the unidentified flying assistance on our buddy on the ground.
Oh, alright. And, so, Amelia, for clarification, so if he is attacked, he'll make another saving throw, right?
If he takes damage.
Perfect, alright. So with that, go ahead and roll for attack.
Oh, fuck you! 7.
Oh yeah, that does not hit. So, apparently, these guys in this flying contraption are still drunk from the last time you summoned them.
Second time I freaking summoned you, assholes!
And,
I think it was 7 last time, too!
and they go ahead and just kind of chuck the rocks like behind their head, and they just kind of land in the ground around him, but no
Toby!
impact is made.
You were supposed to help me!
And yeah, that they are gone. Is there anything else you want to or can do with this turn?
No, let's just continue.
Alright, so, and they just kind of float away, waving goodbye at you, and then they just disappear into the sky.
So, this entire freaking video.
Alright, so it is now our friend in the sky's turn, and
Done
let's
more harm than
see.
good.
Hang on, so he's on fire, with that being the case.
And the
Yes,
spell doesn't
sir.
specify that he takes damage from it, so that's kind of a DM call. Whether
Alright,
you
so
have him taking damage or not.
so yeah, just for the sake of him being, like, he is definitely thrown off his game, and let's see. I will go ahead and roll. Okay, so he does take 1 point of fire
And
damage.
again, hearing all these dice go, it just reminds me of the Critical Role theme song that's stuck in my head.
Roll. Roll.
Oh, it's such a good song. So,
Sorry.
with that being the case, this man in the sky, he definitely looks off his game, and he's surprised by how much you guys have actually managed to, like, attack him and keep his friend on the ground for this long, because they are not used to being, you know, thwarted by just normal people, and he is going to
Normal,
go...
quote unquote.
Normal, yeah. He is going to go ahead and... Let's see. I need everyone to go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save? Oh, great, I don't have
Natural 20.
Yeah!
I rolled a 5.
Please, dice, please be in my favor for once. Awesome, 16. Hell yeah.
Nice. Matthias?
I have got myself an 11.
Alright. So, you see, as he's just kind of clutching his wounds, he holds his hands out towards you, and you can see, like, this, just icy chill soar through the sky, and, like, down towards you, but, so, like, even though it surrounds you guys, you seem mostly unfazed by it, and you seem to have some, and you, Cassie, I'm directing my attention to her, because you guys can't see me, but she can, but, it just, you seem to have some sort of protection around you after the last time this happened, like, you saw what this was, and this was the thing that everyone protected you from, and, you are all unaffected by his spell, thankfully. And with that, it is now your turn, Cassie, actually.
Throw in more memes.
Yeah, because I never know what I'm going to do. I want to cast Lightning Bolt.
Alright,
on the guy in the
nice. Now let's see. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll attack in that case. Uh-oh.
I missed.
Oh, what was it?
Well, I rolled a 1.
Oh, alright, so yeah, it's just... you go ahead and send that guiding bolt after him, and it just... He swiftly just kind of spins out of the way.
There goes that spell.
And yeah, that spell unfortunately does end up missing. So with that, it is now top of the round. The man that is further behind you will go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw. That is 15.
He just barely makes it, so he is released from the spell.
Alright, so...
No, laughing again.
So with that, he is now released, and he goes ahead and kind of shakes it off and floats back up into the sky. And you can see he's like communicating with this other man in the sky, and the other man just kind of shakes his head, all disappointed. And the man that just released, he doesn't necessarily do anything, but he does just go ahead and keep an eye on the rest of you. With that, Soren, it is now your turn.
Okay. Let's see. I don't like that guy.
Well, he just destroyed
I-
a city, so I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I don't like either of them.
Oh, trust me, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this is so hard to decide.
See, I'm envisioning these guys just like floating up in the air, but they're like dressed in business suits.
Now they're both in like very churchy looking robes, and one of them is currently on fire.
I will go ahead. Oh gosh, he's probably got really good decks, but I'm gonna take the chance anyway. And the one that is already on fire needs to make a dexterity saving throw
All right, sounds good.
because I am lobbing 3 shots of flame up at him.
That is 17.
Dang it. Okay, he makes it, so he's gonna take half damage.
All right.
That is 15. So he's gonna take 8 points of fire damage.
Ooh, not bad. So you go ahead and send it up towards him, and it just envelops his cloak, and he is definitely looking surprisingly beat up. The other guy still is fighting fit because he's just been on the ground laughing this whole time, but this guy on fire, he is not having a good day. Is that it for your turn?
Yeah, that's all I can do.
All right, Matthias, you're up next.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll shoot another arrow.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
All right. That would be a 9.
Unfortunately, that misses. So you go ahead and fire this arrow, and he definitely looks distracted, but the other guy that just came up actually comes up and swipes the arrow away with his cloak, and it bounces off almost as though this cloak is like impenetrable. And with that, go ahead and make another dex saving throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
14.
All right. Not too bad, actually. So you go ahead and manage to get the horses back on track, and you kind of steer them back towards the burning city, and you are now finally getting closer to the city. And with that, Arcrampton, it will now be your turn.
Of course it is. Hopefully I'll be of some use this time.
Oh, trust me, I would have used last time you did.
Has any of us been hit at all?
Nope.
Thankfully not, because if you were,
Oh god. So I want to put. Okay. I want to use a first level spell. I want to use the mage armor.
all right. So easy enough. You go ahead and cast that on you, and that goes ahead and increases your.
Oh, actually, I wanted to because it's touch. So I would actually like to put it on Matthias since he is driving since he is driving the cart, and if anything happens to him too much, that is not going to end well for all of us.
All right. So with that being the case, you go ahead and put that on Matthias, and now Matthias, your base armor class becomes 13 plus.
Plus, it's the scarcity modifier.
Okay, so that would be 13 plus 2. So
So it's 15.
yeah.
Spell ends if the target dons armor, or if you dismiss the spell as an action.
So yeah, if Matthias was to like put on armor of his own or something, like if that wasn't already on, or if he decided to dismiss it, then it disappears. But for now, Matthias is essentially, I wouldn't say invincible, but definitely much harder to hit now. So that is good with that. Is there anything else you would like to do with your turn?
Am I allowed? Can I just put them on everyone, or is it just once per go?
So
It's once per
yeah.
turn.
All
It's an
right.
action to cast or to cast.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and that does
So
take
then
up a
I'll
spell slot, so
Then I'll just move on from now.
alright. So with that being the case, it is now the healthier man's turn, and he just kind of looks at you. He looks up at the burning town, and he just kind of flies far off to the east.
This bitch.
And he is now running from the battle. And
Be coward!
Let's
Yeah.
see. I want to see if anyone has any. Okay, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. But all right. So yeah, he goes ahead and runs away. Cassie, it is now your turn. There's still one in the area. He's got like 2 arrows in his shoulders, a crossbow bolt, and his cloak is not definitely on fire.
So I'm just gonna take another shot at my
All right, go ahead and roll attack. That definitely hits. Was that natural or total? Okay, so go ahead and roll damage then. Alright. 2. So you go ahead and fire that crossbow bolt and it sticks into kind of like a very top of his shoulder this time, and it throws him back, and he is looking hurt. And at the top of the turn.
Wait. Before the end, I want to go and grab my shield, but like keep it concealed.
Alright.
Just in case everything goes to hell. That way, I'm like, screw the cloak. But I want that.
Alright, and after all that, he is just going to stare down at you guys, and he is going to go ahead and fly away after his friends, and now they have both.
Coward.
Yeah, they have both disappeared and left the battlefield, and with that.
Jerk.
Thankfully.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Question. How far away from me was he?
So from you, he was about 30 feet up into the air.
Okay, and how far can he go in a turn?
So in a turn, he would go. He would go 30 feet in his turn.
Then we are still in combat, my friend.
All right. So with that, it is actually your turn anyway. So what do you?
Fantastic. I'm gonna lob a firebolt at him.
Perfect. Roll attack.
120-foot range.
Yeah.
That will be an 18 to hit.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
8 damage. 8 fire damage.
Nice. All right. So you go ahead and fire that firebolt at him, and like it catches him off guard. It actually catches the kind of the tail of his cloak and kind of crawls up his back, and
I'm also gonna yell at him.
All right. And what are you gonna yell?
Get your arse back here! We're not done with ya!
And he is definitely looking hurt. Like he doesn't look necessarily close to death, but he definitely looks hurt. And with that, Matthias, it is now your turn.
So for reference, everybody, he is 60 feet away.
Yeah.
Okay, currently he's 60 feet away, so he wasn't able to move because it wasn't his turn.
He took 30 feet of
yeah.
movement, but it only put him 60 feet away from us. So if you've got range,
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I got rage.
let's do this.
I use my short bow once more because it has 80 feet of range.
All right. So go ahead and, for the sake of just because, like, on top of Soren shouting and the fact that they're trying to run, you guys like suddenly have more confidence in yourself. Like, oh, we're actually posing a threat to these guys. Go ahead and roll attack with advantage.
Yes.
Oh, beauteous. Beauteous.
What-
Okay. That is unfortunately an 12.
That just hits. Go ahead.
Yes.
And roll.
That just hits?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay. So. Yay. Okay. Although it only does 3 points of damage.
Hey, damage is damage, man. So you go ahead and fire the arrow up at him, and it sticks right into his back, and he is struggling. He is squirming in the air, trying to just like hold all of his wounds, but he is definitely having trouble. And go ahead and make a death saving throw again.
Yay!
Just stop.
7!
Wow. All right.
Oh my god.
So
Again! You're driving.
Back away from the east entrance again.
Yeah,
Are you guys-
you go ahead and try to grab the horses again, but they are freaking out at all of this just because everything around them is just chaotic as crazy or whatever, you know what I mean. And they are not listening to your commands at all anymore. And our Crampon, it is now your turn.
All right, I would like to ask, since are these just like normal human like people or?
Go ahead and make an insight check. Or no, perception.
Why? Every time I want to make a freaking perception, it's always a freaking. Wait, what? There it is. Oh, and 13.
Yeah, from this distance, you can't really tell what they are.
All right, but I would like to cast the chill touch.
All right. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and here, just that way I know. All right, perfect. Oh yeah, they're definitely in range. Go ahead and roll attack with advantage because like all of you are just kind of motivated now, and you're like, okay, yeah, we're better than these guys.
Let's kill this bastard.
What do you mean advantage?
So you roll twice, and you take the higher number.
Oh. Okay, so 19.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And then damage is a D8. Where's my D8? There it is. 1 second. 5.
All right, 5 points necrotic damage. So you go ahead and create the skeletal hand right within it, and it goes ahead and just touches this thing, and with this chill mixed with this fire, it's like a weird like juxtaposition on this thing's body, and it just kind of freaks out. And all right, hang on, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, yeah.
And it can't regain hit points, so fuck you, dude.
Yep. So yeah, he is not looking good. And the healthier one spends his turn, and he's going to go ahead and fly a further 60 feet away, or 30 feet away, my apologies. And after that, it is now Cassie's turn. Yeah, oh yeah, you've definitely got advantage.
These guys haven't attacked us at all.
Nope.
They've tried to, but trust me, be glad they haven't.
It's just like a one-sided battle.
Wait, 21? Alright, cool. So go ahead and roll damage. Ooh, that's a
Yeah. Why you think I cast it? Tried to cast it the first time.
Yeah.
This is why clerics and paladins don't have a lot of spell slots, because their
dude.
spells are great.
Freaking overpowered, my goodness.
Well, one of them is
Oh,
11.
11 total? Oh, man. So you go ahead and send this guiding bolt after him, and on top of all the other, like, damage you've already done to him, he is looking badly hurt. And,
Oh my gosh, how much health does this fucker have?
So much health.
oh yeah, he is still alive, but he's looking pretty badly hurt. Is that all you can do with your turn? Alright. So, hang on, let me go ahead and, I believe there were some...
Die already!
Alright. So, just so everyone knows, because Guiding Bolt hits, the next next attacker gets advantage on their roll, right? Okay.
Yeah, but we have that already anyway,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So it's
That's
like,
why I didn't
yeah.
mention it.
alright,
Because we
so
haven't been it already.
with that being the case, this man, he is looking hurt. He is going to go ahead and, you see him, like, he starts doing the thing he did to the city where he just, like, moves his hands apart and you see this massive ball of flame form in his hands, and he throws it behind you at the forest you just exited, and, like, you just... the entire forest erupts in flames,
Yes.
Just
Now we have
everything-
some great backlighting for us destroying it.
Yes. and that.
Yes. Little do you know that was my to burn the down. You just beat me to it.
Oh yeah, and then that will be the end of his turn. So top of the
He
round.
doesn't move?
No, he is just going to remain there, and he just kind of glares down at the rest of you as he's doing.
Alright.
So now
Okay.
Soren is
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna attack him again.
All right, perfect. So go ahead and roll attack.
That is a 16.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Ha, max damage, 10 fire.
Yeah, 10 points of fire damage. Oh, he is on his last leg, man. You go ahead and fire this firebolt. He is just kind of floating there, and his entire body is just kind of on fire. And he's just standing there. He's no longer really struggling. He's just kind of, his head is kind of bowed, and he like.
Oh, wait.
What?
Hold on, I have an idea. Hold on.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out any way I can possibly do even just a tiny bit more damage. Okay, no, never mind. My familiar can't attack. We're good.
Okay, so yeah, this man, he's not looking great. So with that, Matthias, it is now your turn. What will you do?
So I can no longer attack because the highest range I have is 80. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to focus on keeping the animals straight. And can I roll like animal handling for that?
Oh yeah,
I thought he didn't move.
Oh yeah, so yeah,
If
no,
he-
this man, he is still within 60 feet.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't spend his. The other guy.
I got confused with the other one.
Yeah,
I got
this guy is
confused
still
with the
within
other one.
60 feet.
Okay. And then I'll go ahead and shoot him with my short bow.
All right, go ahead and roll attack with advantage.
Cool. 15.
All right, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Dizzity damn damage. 8 damage.
All right, how would you like to finish this guy off?
Yes!
Not fair. You gonna finish my people off like that?
How would I like to finish him off?
Yeah, like just kind of describe what your character would be doing, because this guy, he is dead.
Wait, I have a better idea on how to do that.
So,
Kill the bastard.
Yes. Oh, that makes me so
Oh,
happy.
good lord.
Yes, I had to turn that effect on just once.
I would like to okay, I would like to aim through the carriage and call him a fascist before shooting him.
All right, easy enough. You go ahead and take aim.
Oh shit! Oh no!
As soon as you fire, the arrow sticks right
Oh,
through
no,
his forehead,
no,
and he just falls backward, and he lands into the forest. He burned, and he is gone. And
He's a fucking corpse.
for the sake of just because you're still writing, go ahead and make a another
Okay.
dexterity saving throw.
Indeed. Okay. I'm not gonna fuck this one up this time because that 7 I got. I had forgotten to switch it on the modifier from minus to plus
Okay,
from when I had to do the Constitution saving throw.
I see.
So I was kind of fucking up my rolls.
See, when he
that-
said fascist, like it made me laugh. I fell back, and my wire came with me, and the microphone just fell off the little stand that it's
Oh
on.
jeez.
So I'm like, oh, I hope that doesn't sound too bad.
I got a 13.
All right, that's good enough. As soon as you finish him off, you grab the reins and get the horses back on track. And with that, he is dead. The other one, as far as the rest of you can tell, has completely vanished into the horizon. And that brings us to a close for this combat round. So you go ahead and you ride the horses towards the city of Livia, which is still burning, and you can see the sky is beginning to fill with black and gray smoke. And as you head into the city, you can begin hearing the sound of townspeople crying and screaming, and people trying to save as much as they can from their burning houses. And as far as you can tell, all around you, the entire city is in utter chaos and has just been completely destroyed. And with that, as you ride into the city of, or the burning city of Livia, we will end today's session, and all of you are up to level 3.
Yes.
Beauteous.
So, do you have any problems with multiclassing?
I do not.
Excellent.
Yeah, and the reason why I called him a fascist was because in the 2001 Green Arrow comics, Green Arrow would just go around calling everybody fascist. He is the most liberal superhero there is.
Oh my gosh, yes. Freaking
How do we level up our characters again?
So if you go into your character, go ahead and by your name, click the drop down arrow and click manage levels.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And then it should also like it may ask you to like kind of edit abilities and stuff and like perhaps add more if it asks you to do that. But
Yes.
yeah.
I have spiritual weapon now.
Yes.
Oh, level 3.
Yeah, level 3.
There we go.
You have good HP now,
Packed
too.
build.
I don't know.
Okay.
Good
Hey,
level
that's
your
good.
unworldly nations with stone gift upon you from all sides. Ooh. Pack to the blade, pack to the chain, or pack to the tome? Let's pack to the blade. Use your action to create a packed weapon.
Yeah. I am legitimately
Okay.
surprised you guys killed him because those guys were both freaking level 18 spellcasters.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, that's why
we should not have been able to kill that guy.
exactly.
Oh,
That's why I
shit.
said be glad he didn't attack you because he
Oh,
would have killed
shit.
you guys.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Well, like the one guy who actually did actual damage, he didn't actually hurt any of us. He hit in the environment,
Exactly.
and he suffered for it. Like, this is what happens when you hurt the environment. You die by people who shoot flames at you.
So saith the man who hates trees.
Yeah,
I
well, okay.
got a new ability.
I got so mad that he destroyed the townsfolk. I'm like, we were just headed there, you asshole.
And yeah, the city of Livia has basically been destroyed, so that's great.
Well, there go my problems.
Oh, yeah, no
So-
kidding. It's like your problem seems small in comparison to that.
I know, all my problems are probably dead right now, so it's fine.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Always look on the bright
Yeah, it's just
side of life.
So now I
Oh,
Okay.
dude, I get 3 more spells.
yeah.
I got a new ability here. I gain the ability to climb faster than normal, and climbing no longer costs me extra movement.
Ooh, that's nice.
And in addition, when you make a running jump, the distance you cover increases by a number of feet equal to your dexterity modifier.
Man. Yeah, level 3 is gonna be good to you guys. I can tell.
Oh, and I can use a bonus action to make a dexterity check and use my thieves' tools to disarm a trap or open a lock.
Ooh, nice.
Or take the use an object action.
That's awesome. Man, I'm already looking forward to seeing where next week's episode will go because there goes basically everything. So yeah.
And just for those who want to know, I did choose when it came to getting into 3. I chose to get 3 more spells. I chose Acid Splash, Mending, and Mold Earth.
Not bad.
That sounded interesting, so I'm like,
I
ooh.
cast. I have level 2 spell slot now.
That's awesome.
Oh,
All right.
buddy, this makes me
shit.
happy.
I can-
One more die.
All right. With that being the case, I'll go ahead and end tonight's episode now that we're all working on level 3 characters. Thank you guys for joining. This was fun, and I'm already looking forward to next week's just to see what other.
Oh
chaos we
yeah,
might bring.
definitely.
Hell yeah.
All right. Hope you guys all have a good night, and I will see you next week then.
Have a good
Toodles.
one, my good ones.
Bye.